Warning, this video will contain sensitive topics including pedophilia, child exploitation, animal abuse, grooming, and brief mention of incest. Viewer discretion is strongly advised for those who may find these topics triggering or distressing.
Hello everyone, my name is Luca and I'm a victim of Sierra.
Oh, I'm Elizabeth. I am another victim of Sierra's. We've both known her since we were 13 and she has done nothing but use us for her own personal needs.
Today we are 16 years old. We will be here to address the numerous allegations and confirming most of them with actual evidence. Obviously there's a lot, so a few things might be missing. However, there will be a link in the description to Snark Reddit and an archive made by trusted sources that are being handled by proper adults, just in case any of you want to check that out or see any future updates on Sierra. iCierra, a popular TikTok content creator, is a mostly unknown lolcow who's been around for years and has made several funny videos in which she has been the joke of without realizing.
Hi. You might be wondering why I'm pretty pissed off right now. When I say my ears aren't for sale, I didn't mean just go and make your own ears. Guys, you're stealing my design. Stop it.
There have been multiple videos made on iCierra over these past years, yet none of them have ever revealed the truth or any actual evidence of her bad doings. For the sake of making things easier, I will be adding timestamps to everything we're going to go over in this video, so feel free to skip to any point you'd like.
He broke up with me ever since my friends told I'm a pig.
We share this for awareness, to come forward as victims and tell a story that was forced into silence. If you want to judge us for the actions of our 13-year-old selves, go ahead, but do not seek our socials just to send death threats or any other message of the sort. Personal grooming. Me and my sister are obviously not Sierra's first victims. We're just the ones that would like to share our personal story without censorship, but there are so many others. We met Sierra when we were around 13 years old. We weren't made aware of any of her previous actions nor allegations. We had only known about the homophobic part. However, we are queer ourselves, so we didn't really care all that much about it. And she had also made huge improvements during this time with her homophobic statements, so it wasn't that hurtful towards us. During a live stream, she took a particular liking to us. That's when we became close friends and would often roleplay together. During these roleplays, she would specifically ask for me to roleplay a love interest of hers, usually a fictional or real person she's obsessed with. We were influenceable children with a lot of personal issues, and Sierra promised to be an older figure to us and gave us affection we thought we couldn't receive elsewhere. Like children tend to do, we made a lot of stupid decisions, which she took advantage of to use both of us for her personal needs.
At first, she was sort of normal. She used to treat us like characters, which wasn't weird to me yet since I roleplayed often and people called me by character names I played. But she just started to make it personal, always begging us to roleplay with her. Then it was always her talking badly of her friends and asking me to do something about it. I was 13 and it always made me uncomfortable because I didn't know these people and I didn't know how to defend her. She would slut-shame her friends to me and normalize this behavior of putting down people in her circle. I just went along with it because I wanted her to like me. After all, I was a friend. Told her about my personal issues around this time as well. She basically told me she could be my mom. And looking at it now, she used this mom role of hers to make me be a doll to her. I had to do anything she wanted or else I was being a bad daughter. And that she helped raise me in a way, despite her depending on us and never treat our issues seriously.
She would tell me the same mom story. However, with me, she grew more predatory, insisting on me ERPing and doing various other actions consisting of NSFW. She began to grow more entitled and demanding towards us, especially me, and insisted that I had to help her after her previous manager left her. After so many years, I had grown an emotional attachment towards her and began caring about her. Admittedly, I had previously refused to accept the fact that this was grooming at all. I genuinely believed myself to be in control even after multiple adults involved had expressed their concern for the situation. I was fiercely making all of her Discord service before she was kicked out of her TikTok account, and that soon shifted into me creating her platforms and being labeled as her so-called manager, despite me not even being of legal working age. However, I didn't complain. I still mistakenly deeply cared about her. Over time, she stopped caring about the mother and son aspect to our friendship, saying I reminded her of Robbie and that I could be a good boyfriend if she ever broke up with her current one. She even began referring to me as her boyfriend to other people and complimenting my physical appearance and voice. This was very new to me since I hadn't received attention like that before, so I didn't question it much. She was the adult in this situation. Even if we continue to go along with her, she should know better than to be talking to any minor this way.
They're gonna regret it.
What?
What?
They're gonna regret it ever doing that.
What are you gonna do to them?
Nothing. I'm just saying they're gonna regret it. They're gonna come crawling right back to me.
Didn't she like role play with them? Like
It was for fun.
Nicholas Aguirre is an unknown YouTuber / TikToker who uploads confusing content, to say the least. He is known as Sierra's current boyfriend and apparently has been with her for years. For clarification, Nicholas Aguirre is very aware of all of Sierra's bad doings and has publicly defended her against several victims. They have never once met up, and as far as we're aware, they don't actually talk to each other regularly, almost as if they're not even together at all. For clarification, he's being mentioned because he's also guilty of being predatory towards minors.
When I first met Nicholas, he acted as my dad, which made sense because Surya was my mom. Around this time, I had a crush on this person who we both would act like we were joking or married, and since there's a roleplay type thing between us all, I jokingly married the person in the roleplay. This upset Nicholas since he took a liking to me. He acted very possessive towards me, trying to lock me away from the world in roleplay. Then when I kept ignoring what he was doing and continuing on, because again, I liked the person, he threatened to beat me in roleplay. His behavior towards me was very much predatory. He wanted me to be his only and not anyone else's. I have always been an open lesbian since I was 12, and Nicholas would straightify me even when I told him I specifically only liked girls, which only made him exert homophobic behaviors, saying he would turn me straight, as well as telling my brother him and his boyfriend don't deserve to live. He was less cruel like that to me since he had a crush on me, in which he told me at one point.
We're not too sure on what drama went down, however, he no longer runs his YouTube account as of today. He is still pretty active on Discord, but he doesn't accept friend requests nor messages unless it's from people he's made aware of. All we have to state is that he is also known to be predatory and weird.
I was just being nice to the 15-year-old. I'm not a pedophile.
Dating a child. Before Sierra Green dated her current boyfriend Nicholas, she had dated a 15-year-old who would remain anonymous. Sierra at this time was very active on Amigo, where she would interact with multiple children and add them onto Discord. One of her victims, who remained unnamed, was one of her favorites, which led to her getting into an online relationship with him via Discord. Well, yes, originally the victim lied about his age, he did tell her very fresh into the relationship, and Sierra, who was the adult in the situation, had told her friends she didn't want to end it. It took her 5 days to end the relationship after being convinced by multiple adult friends who were practically forcing her to break it off. Even after the relationship ended, she actively contacted the victim and argued that she would wait until he turned 17 because a friend of hers told her it was okay to date him once he was 17. During this time, she would send other adult friends real-life photos of the unnamed victim, bragging about how he used to be her friend. Till this day, she blames the victim in this situation and claims she did nothing wrong, and it was his fault for lying to her in the first place. I think it should also be stated that even now she still keeps photos of the unnamed victim and refuses to delete them, saying it's too hard to let go, which is disgusting considering it has been a year or more ever since the incident. This doesn't mean the incident should be forgotten nor forgiven, especially since she still had contact with him as late as March of 2025, expressing to their friends that she was jealous of the victim and their partner, wishing she could just share him. As of now, June 2025, this victim unfortunately committed suicide due to these actions. If you have experienced anything like he did, we recommend you seek out anyone you can talk to.
I love little girls, they make me feel so good.
I don't want to play boy.
Animal abuse.
Surya owns a dog. She claims it's her sister's dog, but at the same time she says she's the only one who takes care of him. This later be contradicted to where she says her mom would take care of him. Since Surya's sister is just as irresponsible as her, and she has had multiple charges. The dog's name is Bonnet. Surya showed a picture of her dog laughing at how bad of a condition he is in. The dog appears to be chewing up his own fur because of how itchy he is due to the fleas and ticks that have not been properly taken care of. After further investigation, we found out Surya rarely feeds him, and when he is being fed, he's being given unhealthy food for him that is just canned dog food. That is basically just slop. Surya also admitted that her sister hits the dog multiple times when he misbehaves, later saying she does as well under the influence that she believes it's okay to do since her sister does it. The dog has been shown on multiple live streams where she constantly yells at him for things such as trying to take her food due to being starved and other things. Multiple people told her what she's doing was animal abuse, and she argued it was fine and to mind her own business. She declined going to the vet no matter how much pleaded and with her to do so for the dog's sake. She said she doesn't have the money for it, however she gets paid by the government for her disabilities monthly. Most of the money is being used to buy merch from shows like Hell of a Boss and Hazbin Hotel, which has its own controversy on its own. The dog is sadly not the only one who is being neglected. She owns 6 other cats who are in similar conditions, although thankfully not being abused physically. The cats have fleas and ticks as well as a bad cough, in which Surya refused to seek treatment for.
Like he'll be a rough with my sister whenever, he's being violent towards her. Well, not being violent, but I mean my sister likes to play rough with him, so yeah. Like she'll put her hand in his mouth and just shake his mouth like that with her hand in it, so.
Currently, after Surya's mom passed away, we have not received where the cats are, but the dog is still living with the sister, most likely being abused. Animal services have been called. They have done nothing to help yet.
Attacking minors. Sierra is known for talking to multiple minors, calling them her friends.
And they're over here, they're also telling me, oh, you shouldn't be hanging out with teenagers anyway. Like, I have one adult friend on Discord, and that's...
However, doing anything wrong will result in you being actively made fun of by her, or shit-talked to other friends of hers. One of the people, who shall remain unnamed, had been slut-shamed, humiliated, talked badly about, and overall envied by her. Sierra was extremely jealous of this victim, who was 15 at the time, which led to her always bashing on her and making the victim feel extremely small. Elizabeth and her had only known each other for a few weeks at this time, when she immediately went on to hating on the unnamed victim, claiming that her doing a completely innocent pose on FaceTime was vulgar and sexy. The adults that were on this call began to call her weird for even viewing her in that way. She then went on to Elizabeth crying about how mean the group chat was, and how she had no idea who the victim was or how old she was.
I have also been picked on by Surya after I had realized her bad behaviors, mostly because of her upcoming actions that will later be expanded upon, including pro-shipping. It mostly started when she met this unnamed minor who enabled her behaviors, and he would constantly make fun of my speech problems. Since I knew her longer, I thought she would stick up for me, but she instead laughed along with him, which she would later claim she did no such thing.
She thought that I was making fun of her speech impediment or whatever, but I wasn't. I wasn't even laughing. I was laughing at my friend. I mean, I understand. I mean, I made a few mistakes. I understand that, but come on, it's not that big of a deal.
She later got worse due to her not taking actions against the neglect and abuse that was happening to her dog. We always got into arguments over this, which resulted in her continuing to talk badly about me to people on calls and live streams. I remember on one voice chat, I joined on an alt because I got curious, and she was talking about me and my brother. But with me, she was actively slut-shaming me and saying predatory things about both of us. She also implied multiple gross things between the both of us.
He didn't make you gay. You chose to be that way. You cannot be born gay. That is just ridiculous. I'm speaking facts here. That's what I'm saying.
Odd behaviors.
This is more tamed, however, we think this should still be spoken against. We are all real, she gets hyperfixations a lot. However, I think we all know where the line crosses, especially when some of these are played by real people, or are real people. Robbie Rotten and Jacksepticeye. She has spoken to multiple times about sexual encounters with the deceased actor of Robbie Rotten, saying how she was going to get married to him and have multiple children of him, even going as far as to roleplay a pregnancy on livestream where multiple minors were present. Most moderators for her streams are minors. She had made us create a Discord server where it was filled of minors who were her friends. In this server, she spoke about Judith Barcy, I think that's how you say her name, I'm sorry, and her murder. This made multiple people uncomfortable. since it was a sensitive topic. They all expressed their discomfort, and she in response started guilt-tripping everyone. She had found a TikTok where two cosplayers are cosplaying Robbie Rotten and Stephanie. She then proceeded to roleplay her finding Robbie cheating on her and began to use real photos from the show, or behind the scenes from the show, with the two actors saying that they had done gross things. Using real photos of the actors together is weird by itself, but it's even weirder considering the real actress would have been around the age of 8 years old, and turning completely innocent photos into accusation and conviction, implying of pedophilia. We can see she is aware of what she's doing by calling out Robbie as a pedophile, yet when being told how weird this all was, she insisted it was fine because it was only role play. In a group chat which involved minors, she also spoke about her V card and how she will remain one, talking about her cherries and other inappropriate topics. Not only does she say inappropriate topics about herself, she also asks other minors as well in inappropriate questions. One victim was asked if they still had their V card. She also asked another minor if they ever twerked before. She also supported AI on multiple occasions and was even planning on kissing Robbie Ron using AI, after someone brought up how disrespectful that would be to the deceased actor's family. She also made out with her own puppet Cherry, who was supposed to be her daughter in her canonical lore. She also sends her feet to minors without accent. She once showed her feet to a whole server call that was mostly minors, just because she thought it was cute.
Hi everybody, I'm Twilight Sparkle, and I love all of my best friends.
Like I said it before, there are many misconceptions and many Sierra videos here. Despite exposing her, I do find it unfair for her to be wrongly accused of things that aren't true. So I will clear up a few things. She has a lot of obsessive behaviors, like for example, her infamous brother boyfriend. To clarify, they're not actually related. She just used an audio that was used for a brother dynamic. Please keep in mind that although they're both autistic, there are many different forms of autism. Sierra isn't severely autistic, she is aware of her bad doings, and although she might need guidance sometimes, she is capable of being held responsible for her actions. However, the brother boyfriend is severely autistic and has the mentality of a child, where he generally didn't understand what she was doing was wrong. We do not want him to get harassed, so he will not be named at all. This man did nothing wrong and doesn't deserve any type of hate for Sierra's actions. The two fell in love over TikTok. Once Sierra started blowing up for homophobia and racism, he wanted to distance away from her. However, she kept forcing him to be involved and kept involving him, which he didn't like, since he started receiving a lot of harassment over it. There was a point in the relationship where he wanted to break up with her. However, she once again forced him to stay. The reason for the breakup was due to his twin sister telling people off.
Sick and tired of it. It started on TikTok and now it's going on Facebook. I just came home from running a few errands and my brother comes down the steps. I'm shaking right now. And he's like, do you remember the photo I posted on Facebook that I made of the Count from Sesame Street? Now, mind you, we're twins. We're 22. But his brain, just to get people to understand if you're fucking stupid, his brain is still at a 5-year-old level. But it just really bothered me that when my brother came into my room and he told me about the hate comments, he started crying. That's what made me really fucking upset. Because I've never seen him in a position where he was gonna cry over something that a lot of people had said bad things about him. I've never seen him cry like that.
There was also another guy who she was very close with, her online brother Ryan. The two met on a live stream. Due to Sierra being lonely, they became friends, which led to their sibling dynamic forming. However, the thing is, Sierra is very clingy and would add him in all her posts, which he found discomforting and a bit irritating at times. The breaking point for Ryan was when Sierra's previous homophobic behavior started to get leaked, in where we assume Ryan is queer due to this TikTok that was uploaded, which we assume is what led to the downfall of their relationship.
Because you're my best friend, Mowgli. Because you're special, and I'm special.
We're not special! Don't you get it? We'll never be one of them. We're freaks! You're not special, Boot! It's just something your mother tells you to make you feel better about yourself because you came out wrong!
We aren't completely sure on what exactly happened. However, what we do know is that Ryan wishes for no further connection nor contact with Sierra and asks not to be seeked due to this. There are obviously more, however, we don't think it would be relevant to bring them up when it's mostly continuous online brother stories. Sierra's family has always been misunderstood due to her stating her parents are dead, but then continuing to talk to them currently. And we have to state that this is in fact a complicated situation, so let's just get into that. Firstly, her biological father said he died when she was a baby. As for her biological mother, he used to be alive but recently passed away. And her remaining family is her biological sister. The mother that she used to talk about that was deceased was actually her aunt, because when she was younger, she originally was going to be taken care of by her aunt and uncle. They did take care of her when she was very young, so that led to her viewing her uncle and aunt's family as her own immediate family, which is why she will often refer to her cousins as brothers. So, when she brought up her mom being dead previously, she was actually just talking about her aunt. In conclusion, Sierra is a grown 29-year-old woman who shouldn't be pampered and babied just because she's autistic. She's aware of her behaviors due to everyone telling her how wrong she is, and even she herself has admitted that she knows she's in the wrong, but she still does not want to own up to her mistakes. Despite this, I don't recommend harassing or getting involved with her or anyone else included, especially if you're a minor. We share this to spread awareness, not for clout. This isn't just some lolcow to laugh at. There are multiple people involved who have been affected by our actions till this day. Grooming takes form in many different ways, and I just hope everyone in this can finally close this chapter for good and stop giving her a platform. Permanently, this time.
Actively of today, the police are currently involved, so there is no point in getting involved, as we would not want anyone to get in the way of an active investigation.